A mysterious figure finds solace in a tranquil, snowy field. For decades, this outcast has lived a quiet life, his daily walk a sacred ritual. But today, his peaceful routine is shattered by an unexpected discovery. He leans in closer, a jolt of recognition hitting him like lightning. Lying in the flowers is none other than Noah Gran, a name he knows all too well. His composure completely shatters. This is his absolute favorite character from the game. Panic sets in as he wonders why the game's heroine is unconscious in his secret spot. Then it clicks. He remembers a prequel event where she wanders into the demon realm. In the original story, she finds her own way back, so maybe he should just leave her be. But there's no way he can abandon his favorite character to fate. He carries her off, feeling zero regret about being reborn as a monster in this world. This world is protected by heroes called Guardians, a celebrated and powerful group. And Noah Gran is one of their fiercest warriors, constantly battling monsters on the frontier. Her personal story arc was his favorite, a tale of hardship and incredible strength. He'd spent countless hours playing Utopia of the Fallen in his past life. Remembering her tragic fate in the game, he vows things will be different this time. The story shifts to Noah's past, starting at an orphanage in Reihi Town. A young Noah, exhausted from her chores, quietly answers a summons. She's immediately handed another bucket and ordered to clean the latrines. Though it's already late into the night, she has no choice but to obey. Her reward is a tiny pouch of coins and a cold warning to work harder. Soon after, she's sold off, chained and led away from the only home she's ever known. A heavy collar is locked around her neck as she's paraded through the streets. Her new owner immediately shows his cruel nature, making her life even harder. She pleads her innocence on the ground, but her words fall on deaf ears. He yanks her chain, brutally reminding her of her new status. For him, this cruelty is just another part of his role. But something inside her shifts. Her eyes turn cold and her demeanor changes completely. Just then, a finely dressed nobleman arrives, and the slaver presents his new acquisition. The nobleman inspects her with a smirk and declares, "I'll take her." She's given clean clothes, a stark contrast to the filth she's always known. For the first time, she's treated to a warm meal instead of scraps. Tucked into a soft bed, she wonders if this is all just a beautiful dream. This brief moment of peace feels like heaven itself. But this memory is just a fantasy she clings to during her harsh training. She tells herself she can endure anything to feel that happiness again. Unfortunately, her time with the nobleman didn't last long. She and other children are led to a massive gate, the entrance to the demon realm. Confused, Noah asks their guard why their master would send them to such a place. He coldly informs her this is the Lord's twisted idea of setting them free. Another child desperately tries to reason with him, but his pleas are ignored. Their former master appears on the wall, looking down with a cruel smile. He declares that this world is simply too boring for his tastes. The horrifying truth of their situation finally dawns on Noah. For his own sick entertainment, he unleashes a pack of monsters on the children. The cruel game begins instantly as a beast lunges for one of the boys. Noah watches in sheer terror, completely frozen by the brutal scene. Her survival instinct kicks in, and she hurls a rock at the creature. In that moment of desperation, a strange and powerful energy awakens within her. Even her captors are stunned, mocking her useless magic against a real monster. She pushes past her fear, pouring every ounce of will into this newfound power. But her small spell is no match for the hulking beast that charges her down. Overwhelmed and exhausted, she feels her last bit of hope begin to fade. The injured boy she tried to protect weakly calls out for help. His plea reignites a fire inside her, a desperate refusal to give up. She rises to her feet, vowing that she will absolutely not let him die. Now she's surrounded, a lone child against a horde of demonic beasts. One by one, the other children fall, until only 2 are left standing. Beaten and broken, her vision blurs and her body refuses to obey. It seems like the end, but her story is far from over. A monster lunges, but her will to live is stronger than her fear. Reaching out, she rejects this cruel fate with every fiber of her being. A powerful energy surges through her as she unleashes her hidden potential. A raw blast of force erupts from her hand, striking the beast's dead center. The monster is completely obliterated, blown away by her incredible power. Her eyes now burn with a fierce determination she never knew she possessed. Fueled by pure adrenaline, she fights her way through the demonic horde. After an endless battle, her feet finally touch down in a tranquil field of flowers. The brutal demon realm gives way to a breathtaking, sun-drenched landscape. Exhausted, she wonders why this peaceful sanctuary exists in such a hellish place. Her body finally gives out and she collapses, wondering if this is heaven. As her consciousness fades, the world around her goes dark. But instead of an ending, she awakens in a soft, unfamiliar bed. Confused and aching, she tries to piece together what happened. Suddenly, the door creaks open to reveal a massive boar-like monster. Her blood runs cold as she comes face to face with yet another beast. But then, her mysterious rescuer from the snowy field enters the room. She freezes, thinking another monster has appeared to finish her off. The cloaked figure calmly notes that his patient is finally awake. He decides to engage her in a friendly staring contest, a truly terrible idea. Noah glares back with the ferocity of a cornered, deadly animal. Her intense gaze is so powerful it practically sends him flying across the room. He dusts himself off, realizing her powers have awakened right on schedule. He racks his brain, trying to recall the specifics of her unique ability from the game. That's right. Her power is psychokinesis, the ability to move objects with her mind. And just like that, she unleashes it, sending the room's furniture flying at him. Even she seems shocked by the sheer force of her own desperate attack. But her rescuer casually deflects the entire barrage with a simple gust of wind. She can't believe her all-out attack was brushed aside so easily. Noah realizes this cloaked figure is on a completely different level than any monster she's ever faced. The power difference between them is on another dimension entirely. But Noah refuses to back down, unleashing another psychic blast with all her might. The force slams directly into his neck, a seemingly critical hit. He thinks if he's going to be taken out, he'd rather it be by his favorite character. In fact, being defeated by Noah would be an absolute honor for this superfan. But he quickly snaps out of his fanboy fantasy, realizing that's not going to happen, because her attack, once again, does absolutely nothing to him. Noah stares in utter disbelief. How can he be this powerful? The backlash from her own power sends her flying across the room. She collapses to the floor, completely spent and out of options. Her mysterious rescuer looms over her, declaring that the fight is over. All her struggles, all her pain, she feels it was all for nothing. Overwhelmed by despair, her will to fight finally shatters. But instead of a final blow, she hears a strange sizzling sound. The cloaked figure suddenly brandishes a massive, perfectly roasted boar. Noah can only sit up and stare, utterly baffled by this bizarre turn of events. He casually starts preparing a meal, remembering the boar monster from earlier. With surprising skill, he carves the meat into perfect portions. In moments, he's assembled a delicious-looking meat skewer. He then magically floats a whole platter of them right in front of her. She's completely stunned. Why is this terrifying monster cooking for her? He notices her bewildered expression, wondering what's got her so spooked. The boar monster gently tucks her back in, as she's clearly exhausted from the ordeal. But the incredible smell of roasted meat is impossible to ignore. Her stomach betrays her with a massive growl, echoing through the quiet room. Her host simply offers her a plate, a silent invitation to eat. Noah holds the skewer, her mind racing to make sense of the situation. Her eyes swirl with confusion, fear, and overwhelming hunger. Finally giving in, she decides to just eat first and ask questions later. He watches her eat, mentally noting that he completely forgot to add seasoning. He watches her take the first bite, completely unprepared for her reaction. Tears stream down her face as the simple taste of food overwhelms her. She can't believe it. It's just roasted meat, but it's the best thing she's ever eaten. The unseasoned skewer is somehow a masterpiece of flavor to her starved palate. Even without salt, she declares it's absolutely delicious. More than that, she sobs that for the first time, something tastes kind. Overcome with emotion and exhaustion, she suddenly collapses right into him. He catches her, realizing that knowing her story is nothing compared to witnessing her pain. He'd planned to avoid humans in this life, seeing them as no different from monsters. But her heartbreaking plea makes him realize he can't just stand by and do nothing. She clutches his robe, her small hand gripping him with desperate strength. With tears in her eyes, she asks the one question that matters. "Are you on my side?" Her words hit him with more force than any physical attack ever could. He puffs out his chest and answers without a hint of hesitation, "Of course I am." A single tear of pure relief rolls down her cheek. She looks up at him with a fragile, grateful smile and whispers, "Thank you." The emotional impact of her smile is absolutely devastating to his fanboy heart. He's so overwhelmed by her cuteness that he literally doubles over. Now much calmer, she asks him, "So you can talk?" He jolts in surprise, realizing she understood his declaration perfectly. She finds his flustered reaction surprisingly amusing. He collects himself, a small chuckle escaping him. He admits her life has been an absolute train wreck, to put it mildly. She looks down, confessing she'd long given up on ever being saved. With a small, ironic smile, she notes her rescuer turned out to be a monster. Her curiosity piqued, she finally asks him for his name. He freezes, wondering if she means his name from his past life. She points out that since he's a monster now, he probably doesn't have one. A brilliant idea strikes her, and she declares, "Then I'll give you a name." He's absolutely floored. His favorite character is going to name him. It's a dream come true. She decides he looks like a ghost, so she'll call him Ray. He's internally screaming. It's such a simple, on-the-nose name. But he doesn't care. If she likes it, he absolutely loves it. Seeing his favorite character happy is all the validation this superfan needs. He reminds himself that before being a character, she's a real girl, alive and smiling right in front of him. An awkward silence falls as her stomach lets out another mighty growl. He can't tell her with words, but he wants to show her he's on her side. So he uses his magic to make a silent vow to always protect her. After eating her fill, she thanks her new friend, Ray, for everything. But then she drops a bombshell. She can't stay here. Ray is completely blindsided by her sudden declaration. He can't believe she wants to leave his cozy, safe cottage. She explains that she's made up her mind to return to the human world. Even though she has no good memories there, something is calling her back. It's a gut feeling she can't ignore, a deep-seated need to go home. With a heavy heart, she tells him this is where they must part ways. She gives him one last thank you for the delicious meal before heading out. With a final bittersweet smile, she says goodbye. The door clicks shut, leaving Ray alone with his thoughts. He watches her go, realizing she's dead serious about leaving. He tells himself he won't stop her, just as a monster appears in her path. The beast lunges from the shadows, ready to tear her apart. Noah freezes in terror, her journey seemingly over before it even began. But Ray instantly intervenes, sending the monster flying with a single kick. He catches her, admitting there's no way he'd ever let her go alone. He casually offers to be her personal bodyguard on the trip back. When she asks if he's serious, his answer is a firm and resounding, "Of course." Overjoyed, she grabs onto his arm, her faith in him completely restored. Hand in hand, they set off on their new adventure together. As they walk under the stars, she calls out his new name, solidifying their bond. Noah realizes the kick that saved her wasn't magic at all. She recalls her own magic being completely useless against the beast she fled from. Curious, she asks Ray if he's an ability user and begs for a demonstration. Ray ponders her request for a moment, a plan forming in his mind. He suddenly grabs her leg, much to her utter surprise. A warm, healing light envelops her as he channels his power. He casually lists off the buffs he's applying: stamina, mental fortitude, and regeneration. Noah is stunned to find all her wounds have completely vanished. Leaping to her feet, she exclaims that he has healing powers, and he confirms it. She's completely amazed, admitting she pegged him for a destruction type. He explains that after decades of being a monster with nothing to do, he picked up a few skills. Noah finds it hilariously ironic that a monster possesses the power of healing. Ray decides that as long as she's happy, he doesn't mind the teasing one bit. The story explains that these abilities are fueled by a person's inner holy energy. This holy energy is a monster's ultimate weakness, making ability users their natural predators. Ray finds it strange that he, a monster, can wield a power that should be his undoing. Their conversation is cut short as Noah spots something on the horizon. In the distance looms the massive wall of Urag, the fortress city she once called home. They arrive at the ruined outskirts, a grim reminder of the relentless monster invasion. Noah declares she'll be safe from here, as the legendary guardians protect this territory. With a grateful smile, she tells Ray it's time for him to head back. But their farewell is brutally interrupted by a blade piercing straight through Ray's back. His glowing eyes widen in complete shock at the sudden attack. Noah's face contorts in absolute horror at the bloody sight. She screams his name as the weapon impales him from behind. She can only watch, frozen in disbelief and terror. For a split second, Ray wonders if this is how his new life ends. But he immediately rejects that fate, furiously wondering who dares to attack him. The attacker is revealed, a knight in shining armor, moving with deadly speed. Ray turns, confirming his assailant is human, while Noah looks on helplessly. Ray is surprisingly calm for someone who just got stabbed, noting his attacker is early. His assailant is a frontier guardian, just as skilled as the legends say. A close-up reveals the knight's intense gaze, fixed on his monstrous target. But the wound on Ray's back instantly heals, much to the guardian's shock. Ray explains that a normal monster would be toast after a holy attack to its core. He then smugly declares that he is anything but normal. Unfazed, the guardian closes the distance in the blink of an eye. He reappears behind Ray, ready to finish the job for good. But Noah throws herself between them, screaming for him to stop. She shields Rei with her own body, declaring he's the one who saved her. With tears in her eyes, she desperately pleads for her friend's life. Suddenly, her psychic powers flare up, stunning the Guardian with floating crystals. The knight's eyes go wide, completely baffled by this turn of events. He recognizes her, stammering that he saw her just yesterday. Noah remembers the horrifying game and realizes this night was there. The Guardian breathes a sigh of relief, asking if she managed to escape safely. The whole situation leaves Noah utterly confused, unsure of what's happening. Realizing he's out of his depth, the knight asks them to meet with his commander. He formally introduces himself as Will Steele, apologizing for his earlier aggression. Will explains he's just a rookie guardian, newly assigned to the southern frontier. Rei whispers to Noah that the commander will be thrilled to learn she's alive. Will leads them toward the massive wall, heading for the Guardian's private quarters. He glances back, still wary about bringing a monster along for the ride. Noah gets nervous, knowing how dangerous this is for her new friend. But after witnessing the brutal attack on Rei, she can't bear to leave him. Will decides he can't abandon them either, feeling a sense of responsibility. With a new plan in mind, he suddenly dashes ahead. He dramatically whips off his own white cloak and drapes it over Rei, creating a makeshift ghost-like disguise. Will declares this is the only way to hide him, while Rei asks Noah how he looks. Will asks for her name, and she formally introduces herself as Noah Gran. He reminds her that all Guardians are ability users, a fact she knows well. The rookie Guardian then puts a finger to his lips, telling them to be quiet. He warns them that if Rei is discovered, he'll be eliminated on sight. Their destination is the Guardian headquarters, a fortress within the fortress. Will announces their arrival, leading them into the commander's office. He barges in without knocking, ready to make his urgent report. But a stern voice from inside scolds him for his complete lack of manners. The commander sarcastically asks if he's forgotten how to knock. Will quickly apologizes to the southern frontier's commander, Liberat Roselia. The commander's attention then shifts to Noah, who introduces herself politely. The name hits him like a ton of bricks, his composure completely cracking. He slams his hand on the desk, his eyes wide with utter disbelief. Rushing over, he grabs her shoulders, overjoyed that she's actually alive. Noah is completely taken aback by the sudden emotional outburst. He then bows deeply, apologizing for failing to stop her former master's cruelty. She tells him not to apologize, insisting the real villains are the ones who hurt her. He accepts her forgiveness, relieved that she doesn't hold a grudge. With a gentle smile, she accepts his apology, officially putting the matter to rest. The commander is relieved, noting her calm demeanor as a welcome surprise. He then turns to Will, teasing him for being so unnecessarily harsh. Will sputters, realizing his commander saw right through his tough guy act. But the commander's playful mood vanishes as he asks the real question. He points a finger at Rei, asking what's up with the large luggage. With a flourish, Rei throws off the cloak, declaring himself liberated. The commander is completely stunned, realizing this was more than a simple rescue. He's never seen a monster like this, especially one brought back by a rookie. Noah quickly steps in, explaining that Rei saved her in the demon realm. The commander notes this monster's traits are unlike any recorded in the last 50 years. He asks if Rei is truly on her side, and Noah confirms it without hesitation. Rei internally screams, "Because she's my favorite character, that's why." The commander and Will are completely baffled by this strange monster's intense devotion. Liberat strokes his chin, realizing this situation is far more complicated than he first thought. He decides to call a meeting for tomorrow, but Will insists there's still more to report. The commander then turns to Noah, asking if her unique abilities have truly awakened. Will explains that as an ability user, she must become a guardian and can never return to a normal life. Noah calmly accepts, admitting she has no other home to go back to anyway. With a warm smile, the commander officially welcomes her into the ranks of the Guardians. He tells them to rest until the meeting, but then a sudden thought strikes him. Noah innocently points to her friend, adding that Rei is an ability user too. The commander and Will are struck speechless, their minds completely blown by the revelation. Meanwhile, Rei and Noah remain blissfully unaware of the chaos they've just caused. Deciding to process this later, the commander offers them a private house for the night. Later, Noah finds herself soaking in a warm, luxurious bath for the first time. The simple comfort is so overwhelming that a deep blush spreads across her face. Floating peacefully, she wonders if she truly deserves this incredible kindness. The house itself is a beautiful safe haven, far from the horrors she's known. The next morning, Will approaches their temporary home with a package in hand. He raises his hand and gives a polite knock on the sturdy wooden door. A delicious smell wafts from inside, making him wonder what's for breakfast. He opens the door with a friendly, "Good morning," ready to greet Noah. But the doorknob is suddenly ripped from his grasp by an unseen force. The door flies open with a massive burst of energy, shocking the young knight. He shields his face, wondering why a powerful wind is blowing from inside. The force sends him stumbling backward, nearly knocking him off his feet. He barely manages to stay upright, completely bewildered by the strange welcome. Catching his breath, he looks up and asks if this was Ray's handiwork. And there stands Ray, proudly sporting a frilly white apron over his dark robes. Ray explains he used wind so other guardians wouldn't spot him opening the door. Will can only stare, utterly dumbfounded by the sight of a monster playing house. Will can't believe his eyes. The monster is actually cooking breakfast. Ray explains he's making a meal for Noah, leaving the rookie knight utterly speechless. He mentally flashes back to the chaos they caused just last night. The memory begins with Noah innocently dropping another bombshell on the Guardians. Will's jaw hits the floor as he processes the words monster and ability user. The commander completely loses his cool, shouting that such a thing is impossible. But his shock quickly turns to manic curiosity as he asks what kind of power Ray has. In response, Ray calmly demonstrates his ability, conjuring a ball of pure holy energy. The commander feels the power flow into him, his expression turning serious. He realizes with a jolt that it's an incredibly powerful healing ability. Overjoyed, the commander declares that a monster with healing powers is an invaluable asset. Back in the present, Will asks where Noah is, snapping Ray out of his thoughts. Ray turns to answer, but he's suddenly at a loss for words, because Noah appears, looking so radiant that both Ray and Will are completely starstruck. Will shyly hands her a package, explaining it's a few extra supplies from the commander. Noah is overwhelmed, thinking of all the kindness she's been shown since arriving. With a dazzling smile, she gives them her heartfelt thanks. Will blushes and insists he's just doing his job, while Ray is literally blinded by her beauty. The knight tells them to rest up for the meeting before taking his leave. As the door closes, Noah and Ray are left alone in the quiet house. She clutches the package, grateful that the commander has given her a place to belong. But Ray gently pats her head, correcting her that she earned this all on her own. He continues to comfort her, telling her to be proud of herself. His simple act of kindness leaves her looking down at her hands, deep in thought. Her attention is then stolen by the delicious breakfast Ray has laid out on the table. As she eats, she can't help but wonder why a monster is such a good cook. She closes her eyes in bliss, declaring his food has a comforting flavor that captures her heart. Seeing her so happy, Ray vows to master the culinary arts for her sake. He then remembers the package Will brought, his curiosity piqued. His glowing eyes fixate on the mysterious box on the table. Noah opens the package to find a book, wondering what story it tells. Ray tries to decipher the title, but Noah instantly recognizes it as The Tale of the Great Hero Silva. He's thrilled, seeing this as the perfect chance to finally learn how to read. But he quickly realizes he can't even recognize a single letter. In a flash, he's practically begging Noah to be his personal tutor. She looks down sadly, admitting that as a former slave, she was never taught to read or write. But she smiles, explaining she knows the famous story just from looking at the pictures. She recalls the heroic images of Silva that she's seen before. Ray immediately deflates, apologizing for his thoughtless request. His mood instantly shifts to pure rage, blaming the commander for this cruel oversight. Noah says she'll ask Liberate for lessons, but Ray silently vows to never let his favorite character feel sad again. A dangerous glint appears in his eye. He's not letting this go. The story explains that books are a luxury reserved for the world's elite. In exchange for their privilege, Guardians must risk their lives on the monster-infested frontier. Later, Will leads them to the meeting, while Ray internally curses the game's brutal world-building. Noah nervously asks what the other high-ranking Guardians are like. Will gives her a reassuring smile, promising her they're all good people. He asks if she's ready for the meeting, and she gives a determined nod. With a creak, the heavy doors to the commander's meeting hall swing open. They step into a grand chamber where the top Guardians are already assembled. Commander Liberat greets them with a knowing smile, saying he's been expecting them. But one of the other Guardians, a sharp-eared elf, is clearly not impressed. She pinches her nose in annoyance, demanding to know what this is all about. Another female Guardian playfully teases the elf for her sour expression. A stern-looking warrior chimes in, guessing this can't be anything good. His companion beside him silently agrees with the grim assessment. Noah looks on anxiously, worried that she's already causing trouble. The stern Guardian clarifies that while her presence isn't the issue, Liberat's reckless methods are. He then breaks into a laugh, much to the elf's growing irritation. The elf points a finger, demanding everyone calm down and listen to what she has to say. The elf guardian bites her finger, clearly unimpressed with the whole situation. Noah stands nervously, surrounded by the intimidating high-ranking guardians. A shy, dark-haired warrior peeks out, her expression unreadable. Liberat officially introduces Noah as their newest member. She gives a deep, formal bow, asking them to please take care of her. The elf tells her to cut the formalities, looking slightly amused. A bubbly guardian named Rose welcomes her, saying they're all one big family here. A rough-looking warrior notes he's heard she's been through the ringer. He introduces himself as Eric, flashing a confident grin. Another guardian tells Eric to take it easy, reminding him they're all comrades now. He then points out a small, feisty-looking girl named Aribert. Aribert gives a half-hearted welcome, telling Noah they should try to get along. The shy warrior finally stammers out her name, Tsubaki. Noah glances over, trying to offer a friendly look. But the simple interaction sends Tsubaki into a full-blown social anxiety meltdown. With the introductions over, Liberat gives Noah a warm, official welcome. Ray is internally relieved, happy that his favorite character is being accepted. But Eric points directly at Ray, demanding to know what's with the giant sack. Liberat explains that's the main event, asking Noah to do the honors. Ray knows this is the moment of truth. They'll never accept a monster as an ally. He looks at the elite warriors, wondering if this is where his new life ends. Suddenly, a flash of killing intent erupts from one of the guardians. Aribert's face twists in rage, her patience completely gone. In a blur of motion, Tsubaki draws her blade and lunges forward. Her eyes are cold and focused, ready to eliminate the threat. Ray realizes this is a fight he probably can't win. The room explodes into chaos as Tsubaki and Aribert launch their attacks. But just as quickly, their strikes are parried by their fellow guardians. Eric blocks Tsubaki's blade just inches from Ray's face as Noah screams his name. Noah's hands begin to glow, ready to unleash her own power to protect her friend. But Liberat's hand shoots out, stopping Noah before she can unleash her psychic fury. He gently holds her back, assuring her that the situation is under control. Noah trembles, horrified that she almost attacked her new comrades in a panic. Tsubaki and Aribert quickly apologize, admitting they reacted purely on instinct to a monster's presence. Noah rushes to Ray's side, anxiously asking if he's okay after the sudden assault. Ray is internally shaken, admitting to himself, "They're too fast. I couldn't even react." Aribert scolds Tsubaki for losing her cool, who can only apologize for her poor choice of words. Eric smirks, impressed that even the famously stoic Tsubaki can be provoked. Tsubaki explains she enters a focused state in battle, but insists she wasn't going all out. Liberat thanks Will for his help, who just sighs that he saw this coming a mile away. Ray notices Noah is giving the Guardians a death glare, clearly furious about how they treated him. With everyone finally calm, Liberat decides it's time for a proper explanation. He formally introduces the cloaked figure to the group, announcing his name is Ray. The elite Guardians immediately swarm him, their intense curiosity overriding their caution. They bombard him with questions, unable to process that a monster can talk, save people, and use abilities. Liberat confirms Ray is a powerful healer, an invaluable asset he refuses to let go of. Rose, the team's current healer, points out that his ability sounds just like hers. The commander clarifies that while Rose heals a wide area, Ray's power is highly concentrated on a single target. Liberat is thrilled, realizing their team's healing capabilities have just been massively upgraded. He then asks Eric to take charge of Ray's training, and Ray gives a confident nod. Eric conjures his own holy energy, impressed by the commander's unwavering trust in his team. Rose admits that despite him being a monster, she no longer feels threatened by his presence. Aribert agrees, noting he doesn't give off a dangerous aura in the slightest. A dark-skinned guardian with white hair watches them silently, his expression unreadable. Tsubaki quietly admits that she was completely unable to react to Eric's speed when he blocked her. The other Guardians are blown away by this revelation, realizing Eric is even stronger than they thought. Liberat explains that Rose's ability buffs allies and weakens monsters within a large area. Eric playfully tells Rose her job just got a little easier, much to her feigned annoyance. Ray simply confirms that their assessment of his single-target healing power is correct. The story explains that for ability users, holy energy is the ultimate power-up. For monsters, this holy energy is a one-way ticket to oblivion. Ray confirms his power is a concentrated single-target version, unlike Rose's wide-area buffs. Rose admits that while her ability is more convenient, Ray will be a nightmare for their enemies. Eric is all for it, but Rose wisely suggests they keep a close watch on their new monster ally. Even the shy Tsubaki gives her quiet approval of the plan. The silent warrior agrees to welcome him, but makes it clear he won't tolerate any betrayal. Aribert chimes in, agreeing that surveillance is the only logical choice for now. With the team in agreement, Liberat officially declares the matter settled. Ray is officially accepted, though he's now on a very short leash under constant watch. Aribert wonders how they'll explain this to the rest of the Guardians, as Noah whispers to a flustered Ray. The commander waves it off, saying they'll cross that bridge when they come to it, and dismisses the meeting. As they leave, Aribert gives a tired, "good work" to Will, who politely thanks her. Will admits that taking Tsubaki's attack head-on was intense, but he managed. Tsubaki suddenly appears to apologize, startling the rookie knight. Later, Noah gets the commander's attention just as he's celebrating his new recruits. She furiously tells him she won't forgive him for carelessly putting Ray in danger. Liberat is taken aback, quickly apologizing for not anticipating his team's violent reaction. His sincere apology leaves Noah completely speechless. Ray tells her not to worry, admitting that a hostile welcome was pretty much guaranteed. Changing the subject, Liberat confirms the supplies Will delivered were indeed from him. Noah holds up the book, asking for reading lessons since she was never taught. Ray furiously shoves the book in Liberat's face, blaming him for the thoughtless gift. The commander stammers that he had absolutely no idea about her past. He watches his other guardians leave, a plan clearly forming in his mind. Meanwhile, Aribert casually asks Will about his past before joining the Guardians. A sly grin spreads across Liberat's face as he puts the pieces together. He tells Noah the book was likely a personal gift from Will, who's been worried about her. Ray is internally fuming. A book for someone who can't read is a terrible gift, but the sentiment is good. He suddenly grabs Will, declaring he's going to help the young man. Liberat gently tells Noah not to be too hard on the rookie, who clearly meant well. Noah glares at the commander, telling him she has a bone to pick for putting Ray in danger. She then turns to Will, sweetly asking if he'll teach both her and Ray to read as payback. Will scratches his head, a bit flustered, but agrees that it's the least he can do. Ray and Noah are absolutely ecstatic. Their first reading lesson is officially on the books. Later, a bubbly girl named Julia introduces herself, welcoming Noah to their shared house. Ray notes that since they moved in, other Guardians have been stopping by to check on Noah, and Aribert has taken it upon herself to be his personal second-story stalker. She reminds him that the 47 Guardians here have been holding the line long before he showed up. With a sly smile, she adds that new comrades deserve a proper welcome. But then she points right at Ray, declaring that he's the exception to the rule. She leans in close, cryptically telling him he's probably safe. For now. Just then, the boisterous Eric bursts in, announcing his arrival at the newbie's house. His grand entrance startles Noah and the other girls completely. Aribert groans in annoyance, realizing another headache has just walked through the door. He introduces himself as Luo, demanding to know Noah's name with way too much enthusiasm. He then gets right in her face, intensely demanding to know just how powerful she is. Ray is completely baffled by the question, wondering what power even means in this context. Aribert scolds him for barging into a girl's house, but Luo just laughs it off. Even the cheerful Julia seems annoyed by his complete lack of manners. He insists she show him her power, declaring that power is all that matters. Noah looks down, her confidence faltering under his intense scrutiny. She admits she's not that strong, and he turns away, seemingly disappointed. But then he turns back, a determined glint in his eye. The girls sigh in unison as Noah realizes he wants to test her strength himself. He slams his fist on the table, officially challenging Noah to a one-on-one duel. Noah is completely shocked by the sudden challenge, while Aribert facepalms in despair. Suddenly the table goes flying, courtesy of a very protective monster. Noah looks down, seriously considering if she could actually take him on. Luo's grin widens, confirming that a fight is exactly what he had in mind. Aribert finally steps in, telling him to shut up because he's not the only one curious about Noah's power. Aribert pins the rowdy warrior to the table, telling him to knock it off. The girls explain this is just Luo's standard, over-the-top greeting for new members. It seems he even gave the rookie knight Will the same aggressive welcome. Julia asks if she'll actually accept the duel, but Noah isn't so sure. But Aribert points out it's the perfect chance for Noah to test her own limits. Noah mulls it over, realizing the feisty guardian has a point. With a sudden wait here, she heads upstairs to prepare for the fight. Luo is absolutely thrilled, pumping his fist in excitement. He then bolts out the door, shouting that he'll meet her at the training grounds. Aribert yells after him to listen until the end, but he's already gone. Upstairs, Noah quietly asks Ray for his opinion on the matter. Ray sits on the bed, considering what the best course of action would be. He decides it's probably best to just accept the challenge and get it over with. Floating down the stairs, he explains his reasoning to a still uncertain Noah. He lands and presents her with a gift, saying it's crucial for her to understand her own power. She recognizes it as protective gear and asks if he's really okay with her fighting. He gives a firm nod, explaining that combat experience is always valuable. With a determined smile, she agrees to the duel, and Ray promises to cheer her on. But Erebert immediately shuts that down, pointing at Ray and telling him he's staying put. With a confident smile, Noah waves goodbye and heads off to the training grounds. A dejected Ray is left behind, waving a sad little goodbye. But of course he's there anyway, watching from a rooftop because he just had to see her fight. Other Guardians have gathered on the sidelines, eager to see the new recruit in action. Luo waits with a wild grin as Noah enters the arena, readying her gauntlets. He asks if she's ready, her expression a mask of nervous determination. Erebert advises her to go all out and test her own limits. Luo cracks his knuckles, promising to hold back a little since it's just a spar. With a final declaration, he drops into a low, powerful fighting stance. Noah takes a deep breath, steeling herself for the coming battle. Erebert stands between them as the referee, declaring the rules are simple. First to surrender loses. With a sharp nod, both fighters confirm they're ready for battle. Erebert wastes no time, shouting for the duel to begin. Luo explodes from his stance, launching himself across the arena in a single bound. Noah is stunned by his incredible speed and raw power. He comes down hard, throwing a devastating punch meant to end it quickly. But his fist hits nothing, as an unseen force stops him dead in his tracks. Noah's hand glows, revealing her psychokinesis is holding him suspended in midair. Luo grins, impressed by her power, but declaring it's still too weak. With a grunt, he shatters her psychic hold through sheer brute force. He lands with a smirk, taunting her to show him her true potential. Noah retaliates by ripping up the ground, sending a chain of rocks to trip him. She follows up with an earth spell, attempting to trap him in a pit of mud. The attack connects, sending the brawler stumbling into the muck. Seeing an opening, Noah prepares to press her advantage. But Luo easily flips out of the trap, using his hand as a springboard. He lands without a scratch, completely unfazed by her strategy. Noah braces herself, realizing this fight is far from over. Luo finds her tactics amusing, admitting she's an interesting opponent. In fact, he's having an absolute blast, his grin growing wider. Noah grits her teeth, frustrated that he's just toying with her. She desperately scans the empty arena, looking for anything she can use. From the sidelines, Liberat notes her psychokinesis is useless without objects to throw. Erebert agrees, wondering how Noah will fight in an empty field. Noah decides if there's nothing to throw, she'll just have to make her own ammo. She rips countless stones from the ground, creating a deadly storm of projectiles. The spectators are blown away by the sheer volume of rocks she's summoned. With a fierce look, she unleashes the barrage, determined to create an opening. Luo knows he can't dodge them all, and that a gap will appear in her attack. Instead of dodging, he simply braces himself, taking the full force of the attack. Noah stares in disbelief as her all-out assault pelts his unmoving form. He roars that his ability is body enhancement, making her rock barrage completely useless. He laughs maniacally, explaining his power is pure physical reinforcement, much to Noah's annoyance. With a smug grin, he asks if she understands now. Brute force is his one and only specialty. Noah grits her teeth, realizing she'll have to get creative to break through his ironclad defense. The spectators are in awe, stunned that she's still keeping up with the relentless brawler. One of the onlookers points out the unbelievable truth. This is only her second day as an ability user. The revelation sends a shockwave through the crowd, who can't believe a newbie is this powerful. They realize she's not just strong, she's a natural-born prodigy with terrifying potential. But one of the girls watching notices that something is starting to change. Noah pants heavily, the constant barrage finally taking a toll on her stamina. Will turns to the commander, asking if he should intervene before she gets seriously hurt. But Liberat trusts Erebert's judgment as referee, sensing she has a reason for letting the fight continue. Luo instantly spots his opening, lunging forward as Noah's defenses finally falter. He swings for the knockout, but she uses her psychokinesis to propel her entire body backward. The unexpected maneuver leaves Luo completely stunned. How did she move so fast? He realizes she's using her power on herself, turning psychokinesis into a high-speed dodge. The brawler grits his teeth, frustrated that he completely underestimated her creativity. Just as he's getting fired up for round 2, Erebert steps in and officially calls the match. She physically holds him back, declaring that Noah has already proven her strength. Noah struggles to her feet, wanting to keep going, but Erebert firmly ends the duel. With a sigh, she has the other Guardians drag the protesting brawler away from the arena. The other Guardians praise her clever final move, telling her she's earned a good rest. Luo gives her a genuine grin from across the field, thanking her for an incredible fight. Noah finally collapses to the ground, the adrenaline leaving her as she wonders if it's really over. Aribert comforts the exhausted rookie, telling her she put up an amazing fight. The entire crowd erupts in applause, thoroughly impressed by the newcomer's performance. Her new friends rush to her side, showering her with praise for her amazing display of power. Overwhelmed by their kindness, Noah is confused but happy to be accepted by her new comrades. Utterly drained, her thoughts turn to two simple things: sleep and food. A single idea cuts through her exhaustion. She can't wait for Ray to cook her a victory meal. Her new friends gather around, but Noah suddenly goes limp in Rose's arms. The rookie prodigy has completely passed out from sheer exhaustion.